All right, everyone, we got to talk first today about Elizabeth Warren forming a presidential exploratory committee. That means that she's tentatively sticking her toes in the water to see if she wants to swim to the end of the subsequent election in 2020. My best guess is she might run, but I wouldn't expect her to be particularly feasible as a nominee. And here's why. There are a number of reasons. The first is that she is old, rich, and white, and she is white. She's not Native American or anything. She's not. That's a separate issue. That's not going to energize maybe the further left. Now, I personally don't care what race or gender a candidate is, but there are people in the country that do, and they come in two varieties: the more traditionalist people who will only vote for a white male candidate. And then people who are progressivism, they hate the idea. They think, oh, well, that's terrible. And the Democratic Party needs to do more to alienate these same Rust Belt voters that jumped off ship the last time, which, by the way, that's going to become the biggest problem for the Democratic Party, is trying to find someone who strikes a balance between energizing the further left, which is growing, although it's still the minority of the party, and retaining the more center-left or neoliberal voters, indeed even some, technically right-wing Democrats, especially within the Rust Belt, to try to hold on to that region of the country and not see it gone for a generation. That's going to be enormously difficult under the best of circumstances. Look, Trump, continues to be mediocre in support instead of, slowly rising over time as he had been for a while. Or the economy starts to falter or something. A war breaks out. Even under those circumstances, it'll be difficult. Do I think that Elizabeth Warren's particular skill set is capable of matching Trump as a campaigner? Think what you will about policy. Remember, the average person is dumb on policy, doesn't know much about it. To them, it's basically Republican, generic set of talking points. Democrat, generic set of talking points. Anything that does or does not break through that mold matters. So when Trump comes out, doesn't run a platform in which he's like, well, gay is not okay and traditional marriage or something, that mattered to some voters. As a Republican coming out and being generally not in favor of jingoism, that mattered in the last election. Hillary Clinton, likewise, generic Democrat platform, largely coming out in favor of socialist healthcare, number one, and pro-war, number two. That really rocked the boat for a lot of voters, especially in the wake of what happened to Sanders. That's another problem. And the other problem is that Elizabeth Warren strongly resembles Hillary Clinton. She's come out already, she's had aides coming out already and saying, well, she doesn't want to be compared to Hillary Clinton. Well, no shit. I wouldn't want to be compared to her either if I were going to be running for the presidency, because Hillary Clinton lost. So yeah, of course she doesn't want that comparison. The problem is she's similar. Old, rich, career politician, white. There are a lot of overlaps. Her talking points are going to be the same. Her style of speaking is quite the same. Elizabeth Warren is one of those holier-than-thou figures, who basically will do like what Hillary Clinton did with, I think, the deplorables thing, if given a chance, and start, red-faced ranting. Should be a bit like maybe Howard Dean there with his scream. Thank goodness he's not running for the presidency. I wouldn't expect he would run. Isn't he 75 now? He's no spring chicken. Elizabeth Warren's 69, so, getting up there in years. The Democratic Party as well has an age problem where most of the technically viable people could run. Warren would be part of that. Or Biden are old. Older individuals is 70, or, in Biden's case, fucking, what is he, 74, 75? It's good. It's crazy talk. The idea that he's going to be able to run an energetic campaign at his age is crazy. It's never going to happen. He'll probably run, in which case he immediately sucks all the oxygen out of the room for people like Warren, because remember, Warren is a neoliberal. She's carefully, over the last couple of years, tried to brand herself as the missing link between the left and the old so-called left, which is the corporate-friendly neoliberals. She kind of was successful. Gillibrand has tried to do this. Gillibrand is younger, more well-received, and has more of I think at this point, possibly even more name recognition over some of the Me Too stuff that Warren backed off on for a while. I would say that Gillibrand is the more viable of the two. If you want that kind of candidate, the inauthentically missing link candidate who kind of has youth appeal, probably go with the one that's 20 years younger and has less baggage. That might be a good idea, but the Democrats have trouble with that. See, the corporate shills that run the DNC, which is a corporation. It's a profit-making entity. That's what the political parties in this country have evolved into, unfortunately, over time. They're basically companies. They want lots of corporate donations and lots of slush fund cash and stuff. Are they going to be able to get that with a far left candidate? No, because none of those people want a far left candidate. They don't want a far left president. They want a neoliberal president. They want a choice between a nice, safe neoliberal who won't rock the boat or a nice, safe neocon that won't rock the boat. Why do you think they hate Trump so much and do everything in their power to screw him over all the time? Because he doesn't play it safe. He's rocking the boat, and it makes them afraid. It makes them afraid to invest. It makes them afraid that they're going to, be able to restrict people's free speech online less or something. They'll actually have to pay, their tax subsidies will dry up. They'll have to pay their fair share. Oh my God, it's terrible news. You got to stop him. They don't want like a Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders isn't even that out there as far as, some of these leftists go. Some of them think that he's a sellout and a shill, which is hilarious to see since he argues for free ice cream for everyone, which means tax subsidized. Elizabeth Warren will probably run. She'll probably find, hey, you start off with 3-4%. If you get in early, when the race is not crowded, there are a few, perennial candidates that'll declare early. Biden's mulling it over. If she gets in early, like if she were tomorrow to say, yes, I'm running, she would immediately double her support because she'd be the only one in the race, with any name recognition. Yeah, Biden could definitely stop that, but short of Biden, yeah, she would have that advantage. I think maybe you could see a Tulsi Gabbard run. It'd be funny if Maxine Waters ran and had negative support. She wouldn't even get support from the far left at this point, I think, other than a few Antifa members. Again, though, the basic problem is I'm looking at the field of people within the Democratic Party. People who have seemed interested, people who have maybe qualifications as far as they would get enough money to be able to launch such a campaign. Presidential campaigns now cost at least hundreds of millions of dollars. In the last election, Hillary Clinton spent $2 billion. $2 billion were spent on one single lost election. Keep that in mind as you go forward. The average person not exactly going to be able to bankroll themselves the way Trump did. That's why someone like Bloomberg begins to look attractive to the Democrats. I would strongly caution them to beg him not to run. Because having a very, very pro-gun control individual energizes the right. Again, old, rich, and white, not great. I just don't see it. I don't see it in the cards for them being able to successfully take the presidency back with such a candidate. My thought is that literally there are like 2 or 3 people that are technically viable. Biden's technically viable, but it's even odds, even runs. If he does, he's gonna be a laughing stock. He'll probably fall over like Gerald Ford on the campaign trail of a stroke or something because he's so fucking old. Can he deal with the stress of a prolonged, hundreds of days long, every day, day in and day out, multiple stage fucking event campaign? Can he physically do that? I don't know that he can. Also, can he get past the Obama legacy? If he just runs as a placeholder of, hey, I was Obama's Veep, vote for me, that's not going to work. That didn't work. Obama's legacy didn't help Hillary Clinton, despite him constantly campaigning for her. Yeah, and Joe Biden's not even as well-spoken as Hillary Clinton most of the time. He's the gaffe master. Elizabeth Warren, maybe, kind of, technically a viable candidate. The problem is she's got so much baggage over the race issue, I don't think it's going to work. She will get destroyed. I'm thinking, like, Kirsten Gillibrand's one of the few people there that's electable. And is she even going to run? I don't know. She's got like 1-2% support. If you look at a list of people and their amount of support, it's like an inversion of reality. The Democrats are still living in la la land. Their most popular is the old dude who probably can't win, whose only qualification is, hey, I was Obama's Veep. Then Bernie Sanders, who's ineligible. Hillary Clinton comes in at number 3 or 4 on a lot of these lists. That would be a disaster. Then you get people like Maxine Waters and Elizabeth Warren. Shills, shrill people that will turn off voters. They're going to have to, if they want to win against Trump, they've got a very small number of people. Now, the only other placeholder that could work is unmentionable dark horse candidate who comes out of nowhere and we don't even know their name until the last 6 months of the campaign or something. That's what Obama did. Obama was totally unknown other than he gave a really good speech for the DNC. Oh, he gave a wonderful speech. All of a sudden he becomes the liberal firebrand, the liberal messiah. If he hadn't, John McCain might have won the presidency if he had been running against Hillary Clinton. Wouldn't that have been funny? Oh yeah, basically Bush Light versus, another Clinton. Huh, wonderful times. It's exactly the choice that we need within the country. The Democrats should find some relative unknown in their 40s or 50s who's, sleek and well-spoken and doesn't piss people off, and run them on a vague togetherness platform, sort of like a second Obama. Then they can win. Yeah, absolutely they could. And they might not, but they have a chance. I don't think Elizabeth Warren would, though. That's about all. Peace out.